earlier, but we got to see Miles Farley. He was given an amazing plea deal, in my opinion. First offender, he doesn't really have to worry as long as he keeps his nose clean and stays inside. In 2 or 3 years, that probation will almost be eliminated. He could get rid of that RICO charge that he has. Everything else, he's not going to be held responsible for, which is super dope. We're going to get to the rest of this hearing from Judge Whitaker, see what happened behind the scenes of some of the other defendants that are going to be moving forward in the rest of this YSL trial that I believe is picking up. I want to say January 13th, but don't hold me to that. We're going to listen to what Judge Whitaker has to say. Y'all let me know what you think. Here we go. The volume might be a little low too. Let me check. See.
Are there any other guilty pleas that are going to be tendered today?
Judge Whitaker up here mumbling. Hold on.
All right. So what I would like to do is, and we can just start up here with Mr. Mender, and I'd like the state to put on the record what the plea offer is. And I want everybody, all of the 4 defendants, and Mr. McMullen, we just heard from your attorney, and he believes he will be here by 11:30. He's apparently in Gwinnett County on some other case right now, and we'll have to just sort of wait until he gets here to handle yours. But this applies to you as well for everybody. This is the final plea date. It's your first final plea before me. I know that y'all had a final plea before Judge Dempsey previously, but I gave you all the opportunity post the verdict in the case with some of the co-defendants to negotiate if you chose to, and have a final plea date, if you will. But this will be your last opportunity to enter a negotiated plea in this case, meaning you all in the state have agreed to a recommendation, and you can be assured that if I do not accept that recommendation, that you can withdraw your plea. Now, you can obviously at any point in time enter a non-negotiated guilty plea, and that would mean that you decide to plead guilty, and the state will make a recommendation as to sentence. Your attorneys will make a recommendation as to sentence, and it will be entirely up to the court to sentence. Could be above or below what any of the recommendations are, could be exactly what one of the recommendations is, but as long as it is within what is permitted by the statutes. And then, of course, you have the right and opportunity to proceed to trial on the case as well. Does everybody understand?
And there are 4 of them left, by the way. So we're going to get into it here in just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Mender, you have this case pending, and you have another case pending as well. Is that right?
These guys, man.
So we were going to respectfully
Come on, Mr. Mender.
request to hold our announcement and to have an opportunity to approach the court at the bench at whenever convenient before we move forward with the final.
All right. So I will come back to y'all. So, Mr. Garlington and Mr. Mondelli and Mr. Abadi, can you put the offer on the record for Mr. Garlington?
Yes, Your Honor.
So what could he have gotten?
Your Honor, on
It's interesting.
December 9th of 2024, the offer was relayed to counsel for Mr. Garlington as it relates to the possibility of tendering a guilty plea. The recommendation from the state was for the defendant to plead to count 1, conspiracy
RICO.
to commit RICO, count 49, which is the murder count, but it be reduced to the lesser included offense of voluntary manslaughter, and him to plead to count 50, which is participation in criminal street gang activity, and then count 54, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, with a global sentence of 30 all parolable time.
All right. And as a part of that plea offer, you all were going to null pros 40, 42, 43, and 51. Is that right?
That is correct, Judge.
All right.
Is he going to take it?
All right. And Ms. Rondelli, you discussed with your client the potential sentences that could be faced if he goes to trial and is convicted of all counts?
Yes, Judge, we've spoken extensively about potential risks of going to trial. I conveyed the offer to Mr. Darlington on December 10th, and we have had some discussion with Mr. Abadi since then. We are not in a position to accept the offer that's been placed on the record. We'll be rejecting that offer.
So they're rejecting that first offer from Mr. Garlington. Let's see, what was Mr. Garlington looking at? And again, they mentioned it here. I'll zoom in for y'all so we can see. Give me 1 second. Boom. There we go. Demekion Garlington, where is he at on this indictment? He's got 1, 40, 42, 43, 49, 50, 51, and 54. Okay, they were saying they were going to get him on RICO. And of course, they wanted to get him on the gang-related charges. The attempted murder was going to be taken down to involuntary manslaughter. I mean, it could potentially be a good deal for him depending on the amount of time. And it looked like the stream glitched out and we weren't able to see. But then he's got 49, 50, 51, and 54, which would be murder. Okay, that was gone. Participation in criminal street gang activity, we got him on that. 54, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. And he's going to deny that and he's going to take it to trial. What do y'all think about that? So we're going to see Demekion Garlington here in about 3 or 4 weeks. This is the last chance.
And y'all can certainly present a joint recommendation. It's just not going to be negotiated per se at that point, in that you would have a right to withdraw the plea if the court didn't sentence in accord with that. But I mean, I will say, and this is certainly no guarantee, but I think across the however many years I've been on the bench now, I typically still, if there is a joint recommendation, certainly take that into account and fairly often probably sentence in accord with that, but that is certainly not a guarantee. So, Mr. Abadi, would you be able to put on the record?
Man, the stream kept glitching when the cameraman turned his camera. That's tough. Taco Tuesday says, I hope he has a good lawyer. Yeah, me too. So I don't know much about this lawyer or his attorney. So we're going to find out coming January. Oh, they big glitch.
Let me say another thing as well. I know that there was a not guilty or a not guilty verdict for most of the counts that faced the 2 defendants who proceeded all the way through to jury verdict. A trial for any of the 4 of you would be before a different jury. I would suspect that a lot of the evidence would be the same. The way it is presented might not be the same. The, I don't know, state's sort of story, theory, if you will, might or might not be the same. And the ultimate outcome might or might not be the same. And I'll tell you, and I'm sure that all of your attorneys have told y'all, that acquittals with a jury are a rarity. So just keep that in mind. It does not mean that the same thing would happen to you. Y'all, you know, we've got a different prosecutor at the table who I hope would stay through the trial of the case.
Judge Whitaker. Yo, she got a crush on this man. He is married, Judge Whitaker. Relax. This could be flattering to Mr. Abadi or some shots fired at Miss Love and Miss Hilton. I don't know. Jury selection is going to be insane. What do y'all think about jury selection for this? Judge Whitaker's mentioning it. It's not going to be the same jury. Thank God it's not going to be the same prosecutors. Can I get an amen for that? Sheesh.
And it just is probably going to look a lot different. There's also a different judge at the beginning. So just keep that in mind, but I understand that for now y'all will be rejecting that offer. All right. So we've got Mr. Eppinger, and I know Mr. Eppinger still has a motion pending. I will tell, and Mr. Johnson, you should now have all of the transcripts from the main witnesses who testified around the 2 attempted murder counts at trial. And if we are not having a plea today, I'm obviously we're not going to have that hearing today, but I would be interested in going ahead and getting that scheduled. And I will say that I have heard the testimony as it was presented at the last trial, and I have seen the videos. I don't know what might be presented at the immunity motion, but I'm fairly certain that those 2 videos would be presented again, and I'm already familiar with that, as are y'all, having had it in discovery for a long time now. But we're going to go ahead with the final plea now. So even though that motion is still pending, any plea that you might be interested in tendering at some further point in the case, if you ever decide to do that, would be non-negotiated. Just
understood, Your Honor.
Mr. Eppinger, you understand that as well? Okay. All right. So, Mr. Body, can you put on the record what the offer tendered to Mr. Eppinger was, please?
Yes, Your Honor. The state
This
offer
is Christian Eppinger.
Mr. Eppinger was a global sentence of life imprisonment as it relates to the armed robbery and everything else to run concurrent on this indictment that run consecutive to the time he's currently serving in DOC custody, Your Honor.
All right.
Mr. Eppinger is facing a minimum of a life sentence and a maximum of 2 consecutive life sentences plus
a life sentence plus 2 consecutive life sentences. Oh my goodness. What kind of deal is that?
45 years, Your Honor.
Plus 45 years. Jesus.
And I don't,
He's
this is just my quick count, but Mr. Eppinger is facing approximately 15 different felony charges on this indictment. Is that right?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right.
And he has, if I remember correctly, the most out of anyone on this YSL indictment. Look at this. Let me find him. Where did he go? It should be easy to find. That's Marquavius Huey. Christian Eppinger. He's got 27 through 29, 31 through 39, and then 47 and 48. I mean, we're going to play and actually go into the background of what happened with Christian Eppinger specifically, because it's going to be interesting. We also have an immunity deal that they're trying to get as well. It's all really interesting. But of course, we know count 1, that's going to be the RICO charge. 27 through 29, armed robbery, hijacking a motor vehicle, possession of a firearm by a first offender. And then we've got 31 through basically 39, which are all gang related charges, theft by taking, attempted murder, possession of a firearm, participation in criminal street gang activity. And then last but not least, we've got 47 and 48, which is going to be conspiracy to commit a crime and participation in criminal street gang activity. Yikes.
All right. And if he were to proceed to trial and be convicted of all counts, in addition to everything running consecutively, so that it would be, I'm sorry, I think you said 2 life sentences plus 100 and how many?
165 years.
165 years.
You don't shoot
that
a cop.
time could also be run consecutively to the time that Mr. Eppinger is already serving on whatever he's convicted of already. So have you explained that, Mr. Johnson, to Mr. Eppinger?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand that, Mr. Eppinger? Okay. All right. And was there something else you wanted to say?
Oh, no, just based on the circumstances, I came to the podium to make an announcement. But given the state's offer, Your Honor, at this time we would reject that offer based on our view and our view of the evidence in this particular case.
All right.
No kidding.
So, yes, we would reject that matter and like to proceed to trial.
All right. And once I get through everybody, or maybe everybody we can get through right now, I'll talk about trial dates. And I'll talk with y'all first about in the immunity hearing date as well. All right, thank you.
Your Honor, I believe that motion can be held as close to trial as possible.
Well, I mean, it could be, but I'm not interested in doing that. I'm interested in getting that taken care of as soon as possible.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Not December, though. Not that soon. Okay.
Benjamin said 45 years and eligible for parole is a win, in my opinion, for the young man. Oh, hell no. Benjamin, come on, man. That is not a win. In this case specifically, a win would be not guilty. Anytime in 45 years in prison, I mean, that is not a win. Jeez. I got to disagree with you on that one.
Have we covered everybody other than Mr. Minder at this point? Yes. All right. So let's talk about then the number of witnesses. I would think maybe about 4 or so for the immunity motion.
Cameron sucks.
None? Okay.
Your Honor, as far as witnesses in the case, I believe the only witness that may be necessary is the
You can pick it up. It's not.
Is the complaining officer, Your Honor. That would probably be
Okay. Well, there are 2 officers who got shot.
Well, actually, there's only one who got shot. There's another.
Well, one who got shot at and one who got shot. You're right. I stand corrected on that.
So
your motion is just with regard to the
he has to
one
be
who
found
got
not
shot?
guilty.
No, Your Honor.
I didn't think so.
No, it is related
Okay.
to both, but the other witness is not necessarily important for the
Okay.
motion.
All right. So that should be able to be taken care of in what, 4 hours at most?
I would imagine no more than an hour.
I mean, I'd think 2, but half a day at most, right?
I don't even think it'll take that long, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get that scheduled then.
I guess
All right, what date are we gonna do,
my
Judge Whitaker?
report and counsel would be, it's the burden of the defendant to show that he's acting in self-defense. Typically, you don't call the complaining witness or the victim to establish your intent and how you're acting in self-defense.
I mean, if he wants, whomever he wants to call, he can call. And I get that. So do you think you'd be calling your client? Because it sounds like the state does not intend to call any witnesses.
Understood, Your Honor. It may be a situation
Interesting.
where I may call my client
Okay.
after discussion with him, and it may be a situation where we may just, the calling of the witnesses is just necessary for the introduction of the video, and we can make arguments based on that.
Okay.
Wow, that's wild. So the state's not going to call any witnesses. They're just going to roll the film. Yeesh. What do y'all think about Christian Eppinger and his chances at this? Seems like it's going to be an uphill battle. Excuse me. Seems like it's going to be a little bit of an uphill battle, and we're going to go back and review the video a little bit later, but they're not calling any witnesses. That's wild.
So let's look at sometime the week of January 13th.
It's fine with the state. And if it's just the video, the state would stipulate to the video coming in, Your Honor, making a...
Okay.
finding.
All right.
Yeah, that's what he just said. They're just going to show
I
the
don't know if
video.
you heard that, Mr. Johnson. If it's just the video, then the state would stipulate to it coming in. I think there were...
January 13th.
All right, let's do 10 a.m. January 13th.
Here it goes. Y'all mark the date. You know we'll be here for it.
Your Honor, I did file a response.
Yes, I saw that. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. And then with regard to the trial, we're at this point looking at potentially 4 defendants for this trial. does the state have, I mean, the last time I asked, we still were facing 11 defendants. So do y'all have a revised estimate as to the time it would take to present the state's case?
I would still, I think it would be less than 90 days, but in an abundance of caution, instead of overpromising, I would say at the most 90 days.
All right. And when you say 90 days, you mean from the time we start presenting evidence till the time the state rests would be 3 months' time, not 90 days of trial time, right? Okay. Just making sure. All right.
What
and
about this
then
jury
obviously
selection,
the
though?
defense would evaluate the state's case
Jeez.
before determining whether they wish to present evidence. But any general idea what anybody thinks might get added on?
On behalf of Mr. Mender, if Mr. Mender was to go to trial, we would want one witness, and it would be who we would need in production.
Okay.
Judge, I don't anticipate any.
Well, they hate these
Okay.
microphones. Killing me.
Mr. Johnson, and I'm not holding you to it now, I'm just trying to get kind of an estimate.
Your Honor, based on our view of the evidence.
I need you to pick up that mic, I can't hear you.
Based on our view of the evidence, Your Honor, I do not believe that we'll have any witnesses for Mr. Evans.
Okay, and obviously that's assuming that it proceeds past the immunity motion. All right, and then I'll hear from Mr. Dark. But
45
okay, so we're
years is
talking about
insane.
probably still roughly 3 months. So 3 months is probably an overestimate on the state's case. Okay, so in terms of picking the jury, do y'all want to do jury questionnaires, or do you just want to have people in and do it all live?
Judge, I guess the question is how many jurors we anticipate calling in.
So, I mean, if this were a typical case,
Yeah.
I wouldn't call more than 72, but
My experience is that they are more comfortable
Good luck
being
finding a jury for
honest
this one.
and letting their thoughts come out in the questionnaire.
in the questionnaire. Hang, excuse me.
Yes, it is, but being alive after shooting one cop and add another, you gotta fight,
All right,
man.
so I
35
know
years
that
of fight,
at least as
I'm
sort of
fighting.
a pilot
That's
project,
to speak.
Jury Services here in Fulton has some, I don't know, tablet type things that jurors can answer the questionnaire electronically, but I think they basically like come in, but just sit and answer the questionnaire, and then we have them back another day for follow-up. So we could do something like that if everybody's amenable to that. Okay, and have y'all thought at all, I guess did y'all already go through at least part of jury selection in this
We did.
prior iteration? Some of you did and some of you didn't, right? All right, so, I mean, I would need to know what type questions y'all want. So can y'all by, let's say, January 20th, have the potential questions that you all want asked?
I can't wait. I hope we get to see these
But it was redundant.
Well, we don't want redundancy.
jury.
Offend. Well,
Jury
redundancy every
questions.
once in a while is a good idea, but I
That'd
want to
be
be
crazy.
efficient. Okay, so I'll pull and look at the last questionnaire, and if, y'all do the same, and if there are ones that you think we can strike, and any that you think we need to add, if y'all can just let me know that, and maybe we'll have, let's look and see what the 20th looks like. Maybe we can have, the 20th is the MLK holiday, so let's not do it that day. Let's do the 17th, which is the Friday before. Why don't we plan to just have like a status on, let's say 10 a.m. on the 17th of January, where we can, so if y'all would submit whatever kind of additions, deletions you would like to the jury questionnaire by close of business on the 16th. We'll meet on the 17th for a status.
Yeah.
And
I wonder who we're going to see as the prosecutors in this case.
everyone who is still wanting to proceed to trial at that point in time. And in addition, Mr. Dark. And then I know the state had proposed, did y'all say February 24th as the beginning of trial?
Yes, Judge.
I had been thinking, I mean, is that a trial day for us? We can.
We could make it one, but not sure.
I'll speak in Mr. Dark's place. He had sent an email after I had filed my motion. Apparently he may have leave filed on that day. I can't.
Let's find out whether he does.
Can we use the microphones, please? Good Lord. Brian B said the guy who was found not guilty on all charges is still in jail. Yeah, Yak. We got to get Yak out of there.
Anybody else have any kind of an already filed conflict with beginning trial that day?
Judge, I don't see anything. I don't see a file date.
Okay.
I have leads, but
Is it already filed?
they are filed.
Okay.
But things can be rescheduled, so that's not an issue.
All right.
Does the court expect to have jury filling out questionnaires prior to the day that we're starting?
I mean,
Because there's a couple things that can happen.
Yeah.
So one is the questionnaire, and with Mr. Abadi at the table, it might be more efficient, but the questionnaires give rise for strikes for cause out date. So if we can agree to ones that are clear, then we can at least dwindle down and not have to waste time on whether or not.
people who are clearly going to be stricken for cause.
Right. And I think those things, like, they can get the questionnaires done, we can.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think
Isn't
we
that
need
the
to
attorney
get the
that got in
questionnaires
trouble
back,
back in the
before
day?
we have them back for the, day of actual questioning
name?
or days, I don't know, of actual questioning. So,
Reading of the indictment is a day of us sitting there,
Isn't that Nicole Fegan?
multiple days.
Let's see what we can.
I mean, it may be that the state's not intending to go forward with however many overt acts it was before, 213 or
That's
something.
likely.
They may winnow down the indictment. Could you have that done before the 16th as well, or by close of business on the 16th?
That is her. Y'all want to know who this is? I knew this lady looked familiar.
Have them back.
Y'all know who this is? This is this is Nicole Fegan. Shout out to Nicole. Yeah. Oh, okay. Cat Not Williams is in here. Says, yeah, that is Nicole. Y'all know who Nicole Fegan is. Some of you may not know. Check this out. And this is
Calling all waterfowl enthusiasts.
second. We're gonna go through this ad. This is from February of this year. YSL Rico trial attorney arrested on a gang charge. What? This story is crazy. Check this out. Hold on.
We carry gator tail mud motors.
Oh, not the gang.
Atlanta area criminal defense attorney is on the other side of the law tonight. Atlanta police say she told a murder suspect to throw away evidence. Fox 5's Tyler Fingert has worked on this story all day. He joins us live in downtown Atlanta with the details. Tyler?
Yeah, Courtney, good evening to you. Nicole Fegan represents a defendant in the Young Slime Life gang case. Tonight, she is now in trouble herself. In fact, I've learned she is facing a gang charge. Atlanta area criminal
That's
defense
crazy.
attorney Nicole Fegan now needs a lawyer of her own after being arrested in Gwinnett County Friday and booked into the Fulton County Jail. Police say she told a murder suspect
This
he was
trial is
wanted
wild.
and to ditch his phone. This stems from a September 2022 deadly shooting in downtown Atlanta. Atlanta police say she contacted a suspect in the case to tell him he was wanted and then told him to dispose of his phone. Detectives say Fegan was not representing the suspect she called and learned about the warrant during a court hearing related to the shooting.
You know you got a warrant, right? No, sir. All right, you got a warrant out of the city of Atlanta.
Besides Fegan, police have also arrested Keontae Davis in this case. It's
Oh,
unclear
no.
if he's the suspect she called, but officers took him into custody last February after he was pulled over for rolling through a red light. This is body camera video from that arrest. Davis is accused of taking part in the deadly shooting, which police say started as an argument. One person was killed and another was injured in that case. Davis faces at least 2 charges, including murder.
I'm confident that you'll come back with a verdict that speaks the truth.
For Fegan, the allegations are a fall from grace for a defense attorney who has been considered a rising star. In a 2019
Nah, she's still
Facebook
killing it.
post, she shared this article about her from Atlanta Attorney at Law magazine that calls her the new generation of criminal defense attorneys. Fegan faces 2 charges: participation in criminal street gang activity and solicitation to tamper with evidence. Fegan represents
Nicole.
YSL defendant Tenquarius Mender. And Fegan has been booked, but at this point, we will not be getting her mugshot because of system issues related to that, related to the cyber attack that happened last month. We are live in downtown Atlanta tonight. Tyler Fingert, Fox 5 News.
All right. Hey, shout out to Nicole, man. She's a real one. This is hilarious. I want to read through this article for y'all, but we'll get back to Judge Whitaker in a minute. Now, y'all give it up for Nicole. She is not playing around. Standing on business. Oh my gosh.
The, day of actual questioning or days, I don't know, of actual
That's
questioning.
crazy.
So
Reading of the indictment is a day of a civil
I said YSL Becky standing on
or
business.
was a day.
That's crazy.
Let's see what we can.
I mean, it may be that the state's not intending to go forward with however many overt acts it was before, 213 or
That's
something.
likely.
They may winnow down the indictment. Could you have that done before the 16th as well, or by close of business on the 16th? Okay. And there's no reason to read the substantive counts that are against defendants other than these 4 or whomever it ends up being. But they may be overt acts anyway, but we wouldn't need to read the counts, even if they were included as overt acts.
Yep.
So, it would be a redacted indictment that we read.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, we'll talk in more detail on the on the 17th about that, about, what date we're going to have jurors in, how many jurors we think we need to call, things like that. Okay.
And Kat's saying that
I know there are no, other than the
haven't closed
immunity
that out.
motion,
That's
no
crazy.
outstanding motions, but are there going to be motions in limine evidentiary kind of things that have not already been resolved? I need y'all to think about that and get all of those filed by January 16th as well. Okay.
Are these pictures of Nicole real?
Actually, if y'all could get those filed by the 15th, that would be good, and then I could be taking the 16th to start looking at them, and maybe we could talk through some of them on the 17th.
Can we have a deadline for a discovery Dropbox link?
I would sincerely hope that all the discovery has been shared by now.
I know they're working on consolidating some of the new stuff that came out as it relates to during the trial.
Okay.
But that shouldn't take very long. I know Mr. Dark has received the majority of, it's just taken a minute, it's over 8 terabytes file for Mr. Dark. So that's been the focus. But I will make sure.
Yeah, so if you, the state, could put together your narrowed, cold, focused discovery.
It'll be, yes.
Can you get that? When do you think you could get that to all the defendants? Because even if they have everything, they'd probably rather have the smaller universe of things.
Yo, go ahead, Nicole. Hold on. I got some more. Look at Nicole at the Trap Museum here in Atlanta. Look at her. Look at this. Can y'all see this?
These niggas lacking.
This is insane. What's up, Mel? Kat says she just got an acquittal for someone facing 26 counts, 2 murders, and a bunch of gang charges. Yo, Nicole. It's a G. Oh man, it's still going. Look at this. This is hilarious, man. I think Mr. Mender is in good hands. Oh my gosh.
So that would be. Find my calendar again.
Oh,
January
man.
3rd.
That's crazy.
By close of business, January 3rd.
That is insane.
All right. Anything else we need to think about right now? All right. Everybody else, I'm going to go ahead and release Mr. Abadi. Obviously, you'll need to stick around. And we had an anticipated 11:30 arrival time for Mr. Dark. So we'll hold on to Mr. McMullen as well. And then once we have Mr. Dark, we'll reconvene for his final plea and to discuss with him the deadlines we've set. Was there something else, Ms. Fagan? Oh, sure. Yes, I'm sorry. You did mention that.